comes to mind is there anything you want to ask me? Can we, Godgrey, can we talk about, I know it's whatever, how do these films begin for you, and when they do begin, how do you begin to articulate them to the people that you want to collaborate with?
Very good question. At the risk of sounding like I've lost my mind, they begin with mental illness. Let me try to explain. With Philip and with John, with Philip in the beginning, we made films about the world we live in, the world that's accelerated on speed. All of us are on speed in rush hour, outrunning the future. So when these films were finished, I wanted to have the opportunity to make another film. So I wanted to do something that would be completely different. I understood from the beginning, I was inspired by a writer named Isley that said that as human beings, we have not seen ourselves until we've been seen through the eyes of another animal. So, as it were, the diva of this film is Trishka, the female lowland gorilla. Trishka is the adult in the room. We are the King Kong swinging by our TALES from the trees. And this film is not to give you information. It's not to give you a specific meaning. It's really to inflict you, to watermark you, to give you an impression. If you went to, if you saw the sunset with your sweetheart, you certainly wouldn't ask him or her, what does the sunset mean? The sunset has no meaning, however it can be meaningful. And what this film tries to do is offer you a meaningful experience. And that experience is free, it's up to you, because as weird as this is going to sound, the subject of this film is you watching the film. In that sense, it's like an art-opsy. It's to see with one's own eyes that which is in front of you. I could go on, but let's not.
That didn't meet my definition of weird at all. So, Philip, the Calling Our Scotsy came out 30 years ago this year. It was your first film score. How did this call come into you? How did, when Godgrey hadn't made a film before, suddenly you're getting this call about this? How did this all start?
Well, the first thing I told him was that I didn't like film music, so that we should probably look elsewhere. And he didn't look. He stayed around New York. I was seeking him in Canada. And a mutual friend called me and said, look, why don't you go and look at what it's done? Then you can go home. And, that'll be that. And I went, where John Smith's Cinematheque at 80 Worcester Street. He had it for the afternoon. I think he showed me probably the first reel of Glass. And he did the damn incredible, he had a very shrewd strategy. He said, I want to play this, about 8 or 10 minutes long. I'll play it with 2 scores, and he played one with some electronic music, and the second score was mine. Just took music of mine, and he said, well, as you can see, your music really works a lot better. And of course, I agreed. I didn't realize it, but I kind of had agreed to do the film score. It was very simple, and I was outmaneuvered before I even had the chance. But I also, to be truthful, I never thought we should have that film. I said, no one's going to watch it. I love working. I said, this is something I really would like to do. And I was working on it, and I stayed with this to the end. And I never thought we should. I never thought anybody would see it. I was wrong all 3 times about it. But was so interesting was that in a funny way, I think the strategy of the film, as Godgrey described it, is in a way it's always been there, but it's revealed now. The film really is about watching a film. I think that was true of the earlier films, but it was loaded in with other ideas about technology and about society, and they were interesting. But when I look back on it now, it seems to me that the fundamental relationship with films and languages is right. If I may say one thing more about that, then I will say this much longer. That when I'm watching it tonight, and oh yeah, it's the first time I saw it on the big screen in this way, the way you've seen it tonight. We saw it in a different way before that. But I realized that what the function of the music here, and probably the other thing, the music and the image works together. The music, what it provides for the spectator is that it gathers the attention of the spectator and keeps them on the film. But then you look at it another way. You say that the film gathers the spectator's attention to listen to music. And I would say that they're both true. That both of the way of listening, the way of seeing are parallel strategies, and they work together at the same time.
Well, how fluid is this conversation? You said, I'm sorry, please clap. How fluid is this conversation in the sense of are you delivering a piece and Godfrey you're cutting to it? Do you say to him, I need an 8-minute suite? Or
you know, it's back and forth the whole time. It's like giving yourself a haircut. The real word about making a film like this is what as it should be, as we know it goes really on. It's as like opera. It's a collaborative exercise. The one as like opera. It is the king and queen of collaboration. It brings together all kinds of talent, and that talent working together. And one of the interesting things about Lloyd Godgrey work, since he wasn't a filmmaker when he began, he didn't use the industry procedures. So he made up his own way of working, which meant that we all worked together from the beginning, from the first reel. Notice that you said reels, but I say from the first frame. We don't have frames anymore either. But from the first moment that it's a collaborative work, and that's that kind of symbiosis of talent together. I think it's not a question of making the film and adding the music, or making the music adding the film. It's really it's a complete discussion that happens for usually probably. Yeah, but before that, Godfrey talked. If you work with Godfrey, he'll talk to you for 10 years before you make him.
And Godfrey, how did you and John begin to work together and describe that close collaboration?
Let me say this, that I always try to work with people more talented than I am. And that's why I work with John Kane. And since the house is dark, I won't embarrass the rest of the crew, but through John, an enormous, beautiful crew came to me. The crew at Optic Nerve in Brooklyn. Most of them are Let me say this. I feel like a deaf person working through the ears of Philip, certainly a blind person working through the clarity and artistic vision of John Kane and his beautiful crew. Without John Kane and of course Philip, but I want to stress John and his crew, this film would not be made. This is not a film by one person. It's a film, as you said, by collaboration. And collaboration is by far the most difficult form of art. You know that all of us have egos about the size of the Elgin Theater. However, if we have vanity of ego, as Philip has reminded me many times, then there's no possibility to collaborate. So So I want to say, really, without John Kane, this film would not be here for you. So thank you.
Okay, so John, how inarticulate is Godfrey exactly? when he first begins to discuss an idea, or he says, I have an idea, you know, I've got the next one, whatever. How's that, what's that like?
It's tricky. But it's very interesting. Godfrey works from his mind, obviously, and from the written word. And we, you know, my job, I'm sort of the universal joiner, the conduit between his brain and the movie screen. So his early, well, he's very specific in a very poetic and, what should I say, coded sort of way. So my job is to interpret his intentions into the real world of creating images, shooting, you know, filmmaking is a cumbersome art form. It's not like drawing or painting where you can just sort of, you know, not that that's easy, but you can revise much easier than filmmaking of crews and locations and things and all kinds of stuff, and money. So my job was really to interpret and help Godfrey interpret his ideas to the actual screen. And his notes and his books and his copious, we had these 3 huge whiteboards, you know, white dry erase boards up in the studio. We took pictures of them every day. We're going to make a book of this. I understood what he was getting at. I think I understood it as much as I needed to in order to make the pictures that would bring this to life. But most people that looked at the boards, they do look like the scrawlings, a little bit of a madman. But we had a lot of discussions, and we basically were working with kind of creating a new language together. And I think that's a big part of what the film is about also, is that we're using the familiar lexicon of cinema. Everybody in all the generations that are alive now have gone to movies and know how they work, normally. And so we're trying to use this familiar form in a new kind of a way. Not that there are any other experimental films in the whole history of experimental film, but we're working with a language of cinema in a way that's very personal to Godfrey's vision. And so my job is to realize that on the screen.
So Philip, how daunting is it as the collaboration continues to know, well, each time out, we got to do something different.
Well,
we can't do what we did before, and that's on you.
Actually, that's one of the first things the government says, well, of course, the new school will have to be completely different. But, you know, I think this is, they are different. It just has to be about that. Now, this particular one, is written directly for the orchestra. The other included orchestras in different ways, but this one was written directly for the orchestra, and that was all the idea of that one. That it would be that one.
Well, talk about how that
Well,
how did that come up? Was that your decision, or Godfrey? Did you talk about that?
The scoring will usually be mine, but in fact, what really happens is that we spend a lot of time listening to Godfrey, going to John's studio, watching things, and looking at things. The music comes out with mind encounters, and saying, well, what is the music supposed to do?
But the fact that it was going to be an orchestral score was born out of what? This is a phase that you're
I
in.
just thought it was time to do it. And also we had, with Michael, as conducting his work with me for a long time, we've crossed this bridge many times where we've been playing, we've gone back and done the earlier films with the orchestras now too. But it was also my feeling that and Godgrey's always wanted, his first thing, he's always wanted to have a premiere night with a live orchestra. It took him 35 years to get it. Here it is. He actually did it. That shouldn't be overlooked. Having a live performance and having a live orchestra is very different from a synchronized soca. By doing that, it's not just that, you can hear that it's a live orchestra, you can feel it. And by doing that, we have taken the film world and put it into the world of performance, live performance. And that's an astonishing, it's a bit of a hat trick all by itself. But I know that there's a lot of interest in continuing to do it in live. Of course, in the end, there will be many more people who will see it in a picture house without an orchestra. But by doing it this way the first time, I think that Godgrey's intent was to convince people that this is the optimal way of hearing it. And by bringing live performance into a pre-recorded art form, it's brought about a huge transformation in the way we experience it. That cannot be overlooked. By the way, we were inspired, Michael and I, by the Napoleon film with Carmichael who was conducting. We saw that in the Radio City Music Hall in 1981 or 82. We'd just been working in Kansas, and I remember I said, Michael, we got to go and see this. Godgrey got us to go and see it. And I said to Michael, we can do this. We were inspired by what we saw. We saw what happened when the live music was added to a film. And this is, of course, something that had been forgotten, because in the old days, there was live music. But then that was kind of left aside when we got to the talkies and all that stuff. But now we're coming back to that idea. And I think Godgrey's always been intent on that. And I think that just being able to do that this first night, and this is a very fun orchestra, a very fine conductor, it was a big addition to the experience.
Can I just say that we the big thing for me and the crew and everyone in Godfrey watching the film live, we would spend days, sometimes weeks, deciding on a cut. Is it a frame here or a frame there? And so obviously the sync of the live. Anyway, I just want to acknowledge what an incredible job this Toronto, members of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra did
by doing it as a live synchronization, it will be a little different. And there will be a flow to the music that would never have if there were a click to it. It's that flow, that kind of an organic flow that comes right out of the orchestra bit, and it's what I think is what captures, when I talked about attention before, it's what seals the attention, I think.
So Godfrey, the Koyaanisqatsi comes out 30 years ago, and within minutes, all of the sort of visual and editorial ideas that you created for that film become assimilated by films, commercials, music video, like it just all got sort of swallowed immediately. Obviously, my experience of the entertainment industry, if these films exist in the entertainment industry, is that people just want you to keep doing what you've been successful doing before. And yet in each film, with Powakatsi, Nakoi, and now this, you've completely annihilated the visual scheme that you previously employed. And I wonder if you could talk a little about that, how you do that, and I know that in this case, I had the good fortune to see the short film you did, Evidence, which you should talk about a little bit, which this is sort of an explosion of, but it involves images of people watching and looking into the camera.
I wanted to, you don't want to keep repeating yourself, or you try not to. It's repeating in that there's image and music, but if you take any other film or director of a film, they have actors and stories and different story each time. In this case, my own point of view is, as I said in the beginning, that we're on speed in rush hour outrunning the future. The stiller a person can become, the more heightened their senses can be. But for a film like this, it becomes almost like a deprogramming experience. Or if you like I am, if you're a smoker, it becomes like trying to stop smoking cigarettes. This film, in 87 minutes and 33 seconds, has 74 cuts. Now when you look at the average of industry films, the cuts are at an average of 4 to 6 seconds a cut. Kubrick was considered the master of the long cut at 11 to 14 seconds. This film is at about 70 seconds a cut. So this is really, as I said in the beginning, this is trying to inflict you with being still. And so, in that sense also, black and white is very important. When films are in color, which, 9 out of 8 films are in color, then the eye goes immediately pre-cognition, pre-intellectualization to the color. So your eye is wondering because color attracts the eye. When you have black and white, let's take maybe a presumptuous comparison, but if you know Caravaggio's paintings, he uses the black ground when he does portraits so that there's no distraction for the viewer to be entranced with the image. In this case, the film is based on the concept of the reciprocal gaze. Here you are looking at a screen. However, the screen is returning that gaze to you. What does that mean? It's up to you. Koyaanisqatsi had 383 cuts in it. Powakatsi had 483 cuts. Nakoikatsi had 565 cuts. This with 73 cuts is really pushing, 74 cuts is pushing the envelope. So in black and white, it offers you, and in infrared, which our eye can't see but cameras do, it gives you the possibility not to contemporize the film, but to make it more emotive. So to answer your question, the subject matter, while important, more important is how you deal with the subject matter. So it's not so much the story, but the storyteller. And in this case, you become the storyteller by virtue of this reciprocal gaze. Let me mention this also. You didn't ask the question, but we wouldn't be sitting up here unless we had angels that, for whatever reason beyond my imagination, are willing to fund projects like this. Let me tell you what an angel is. It's anathema to the business. An angel is someone willing to make a bad deal for the love of the project. Okay? And so I want to share this moment with an angel that I have had the good fortune now over 35 years, because it's been longer than these films, to be blessed by his wings, Mr. Dan Noyes, a piece of land. Thank you so much. And Dan is my archangel. And now I'm joined by 2 other angels from Montreal, from Canada, Phoebe Greenberg and Penny Mundell. So in effect, they told me, Godfrey, leap and your net will appear. So thank you so much.
One more thing Philip and John and Godfrey. When you're dealing with a piece of material that isn't sort of operating on the typical wavelength of film, in which the sort of the response to it is visceral, and you're not dealing with plot in the typical sense. You know, I work in a world in how you define, how you come to shape something and how you define better is pretty obvious most of the time. You know what I mean? You look at this take, you look at that take, the take where somebody says the line properly and standing in the right place, you go, well, that's better. Yeah, but here, I feel like you're dealing with something that's much, much more difficult to define, and how, if you can, talk about those conversations about how you determine what's better, and even how you know when you're done.
We spent a lot of time. First of all, we were shooting the film. We shot first in New Orleans, and every day we come back and watch. This is the beauty of digital cinema, is we'd be able to watch our dailies that night in a screening room that we had set up. And that was the beginning of us. It's sort of like a baby learning to talk. We're watching the material, listening to Godfrey's reaction, talking about our own reactions, and very early on, we're trying to get a shared lexicon of what's good and what's bad, like what we're responding to and what we're not responding to, really from, a blank slate. And so it started early. We're, as I said earlier, we're making up a new way of using the familiar language of cinema. It's still, it's a picture in a frame, and it's moving, and at that point things were in color. It wasn't black and white yet, although that was an early idea of Godfrey's to make the film black and white. But we sort of learned together in baby steps what words we liked and what sounds we liked. How if you listen to some languages, there are a lot of clucking and clicking, and we were kind of figuring out if we like clucks and clicks, or do we like, and that was the really interesting thing about the project. One of the many interesting things, and why it took us as long as it did, is we were making up this language as we went along. So by the time we got to a place where we were editing sequences, and this is before we had music, we kind of had a shared, when I say we, it's Chris Besecker, the editor of the film, and Greer Dill, our key effects guys, Chish Cavoli, one of our two cinematographers is here. And Manu Below is not here tonight, I don't think, but our effects guy, an incredible team. We learned this language together. And I have to say, Mara Campione, who held the whole circus together. Without her, it would never happen. But and it would all fed off of, mirrored off of Godfrey's vision. So it wasn't like you're saying, oh well, this scene's supposed to communicate like tension, so or this person needs to look like they're in love. We're trying to create poetry in a new form out of these motion pictures. So by the time we got to the editing phase, before we had music, it was remarkable to me how we had a shared idea of what was good and what wasn't. Always filtered, of course, through Godfrey's vision of where we're going, which changed and morphed as we went. And then Philip would come out and watch our assemblages. And that's when we introduced Philip to the language of the pictures, and what we did what's called marinating Philip in the imagery. So maybe you could take over from there, Philip, what that's like, and how, before you wrote the music.
I think your description of the work process is good. It's hard for but there's another element that has to really be said. The most important quality of the work process is one of trust. And that's what keeps you working together. I think we always, that Godfrey could sometimes, believe it or not, he can be inarticulate. But but generally speaking, we trusted him. We trusted each other. I didn't, I never worried about the film very much. There's no point in it anyway. Don't worry about it. But we've done it, been through it over time. But this, when we talk about collaboration, the trust has to be there. Then the process can, all the other stuff can happen. All the other stuff can happen. And sometimes I've been with Godgrey on projects where people left, and things got better. But that's, I just want to bring that element to it because it's, if we don't say it makes it less mysterious, if you see what I mean. Trust and respect are very much connected. But you have to remember that Godgrey, we were beginners at film business. And we had only each there were some very good people who have been around from the beginning from his side too. But there was somehow we knew that we could trust each other. But there's the other thing is that whether we finished the first film or this one or any film, I never was really sure we finished anything. To be truthful, but we just did it. It was there was nowhere else to go. There was nowhere else to get out of it. Essentially.
Godgrey, I only know, I was an executive producer on Not Going Coxie, so I got a little bit of a glimpse into your process, and it seemed to me that the process and the collaboration was the most enjoyable aspect of the piece, that the result was going to be whatever it was going to be, but that for you, just the experience of it and the whole conversation that began and ended, over the course of years was really what you valued. When you're not working, are you having conversations with yourself about the next thing or what?
This is not a job. That's what I said in the beginning. I said that in kind of a jest, like it's mental illness, but to do these kind of projects requires a commitment, not of grace and gratuity, but like to an insane asylum. It's like living the project, not being employed to do something. So I have three things. That kind of commitment I just described, acting as if I know what I'm doing, and having the right to useful unemployment, because that's what it takes to do this. So